Good morning, everyone. It's Brooke with Mrs. Cog Hill Farm, and I'm starting out down at the mud hole this morning. It's a pond that we had dug a couple of years ago, but if you guys have followed us for very long, you know we have had some problems because our soil just drains so good that the pond is draining right along with it. So we want to do some work on the pond, and we want it to actually dry up. This is the first time since it's been built that we haven't been begging that it gets filled up. We built a well to fill it up, and it did a good job, but it just continuously dropped the level. So we've had an engineer come out from the state, take a look, and he recommends putting some bentonite clay around it. So we have not had any rain here in the last couple of weeks, I would say, until last night. And last night we got about a ½ inch of rain, but I want to show y'all how far the level has gone down. So we got a few geese that are congregating down here this morning. But I want to show y'all how far it has gone down. And I honestly did not think it would go this low. I felt like the bottom is saturated and it's gonna hold water, but that doesn't take care of the fact that there is evaporation. So as hot as it's been, obviously it's gonna evaporate. But you can see the spillway over there with the pipe, and our level's coming down, y'all, providing we don't have a hurricane or a tropical storm that dumps a whole bunch of water. I think we may be able to get some clay and bentonite spread out, maybe even this season. So what do you think about this? I mean, I've been seeing you over here swim, you and Goldie. Y'all even take early morning swims. It feels pretty good this morning. You're starting to, you could probably walk across it now and not even be over your head. You don't even need your swimmies. So are you appreciating this, or who knows? You're not talking, are you? I don't blame you. Y'all, we got a cold front coming, and I'm gonna say cold because the temperatures from what they have been with heat index some days have been 123 degrees. I know it's been hot everywhere, but the high actual temperature tomorrow and Monday are supposed to be 79, 80 degrees. So that, you're not even gonna need to swim. You can hang out on the land, you can run till your heart's content and not even work up a sweat. That's right, it's coming. So here's Goldie. I don't think she's gonna go for a swim, but they do thoroughly enjoy the pond, and it won't be too much longer before Miss Goldie is able to be relocated over at G&G with Mr. Otis over there, and hopefully, he's not going to be fertile this year. He's not going to be, she can lay all the eggs she wants to, but they're not going to be fertile this year. So, oh my goodness, Nugget, as I'm touching you, I realize that you're soaking wet. You've already been swimming. Yes, you have. His feathers are they're not even rattling till you get down here. Listen. They're like straw. So I think Catherine and Tony have just about completed the fence that is going to be necessary to keep Otis and Goldie happy. We cannot allow these two to reproduce because the outcome is, we just don't want to talk about that. Genetically, it's not a good thing. We have no choice but to rehome Goldie, and Nugget's going to be with the boys, and that's coming. So emus do not mate for life in nature. They find a mate, they do their thing, they go on, they lay eggs. The male that bred her last sits, and she's going on to breed with another male and lay another clutch. As long as they have a companion, another of their kind, they'll do fine. I don't want to have Nugget alone, obviously, and that's why we added the 2 male emus that are, well, You know what they are. They're just a little bit crazy. Nugget was a little bit crazy too at one time, but he grew up. And I'm wondering if when he gets back with these young men, if he's not gonna start running and acting like a young emu again. I don't know. But the weather will be starting to cool down at that time. And even with the weather being warm, it hasn't stopped these young emus from taking off running and acting silly every day. Don't know what they're gonna do this morning, but we're about to find out. So I came up on the back side of the pasture so nobody knew that I was feeding. Nobody like Tater or Moody or Mildred or Little Man. So they're not out there mooing, and I came to let these guys out first. All right, good morning, everybody. Oh yeah, it feels good this morning. The cold front has not even gotten here. The cold front is not here yet. Where's Little Man? There he comes over the hill. He comes for breakfast and dinner. Oh, y'all, look at Matilda. Look at Matilda running. Come on, big girl. She was running up that hill. She thought she had missed her breakfast. Come on, big girl. Come on. Y'all can see she is walking so good. That front hoof is no longer dragging. She can run up the hills. I mean, that is what you call a transformation right there. You wouldn't know that she had a problem. Now that leg is still a little bit swollen, and that swelling's not gonna go away. I know, you sound like a big giant dinosaur. There he goes. There they go. Look at them. Into the woods. Ernest T's not running, but Opie sure is. So I gotta get everybody fed this morning because I am headed over to meet Miss Tanya, our former beekeeper that was a hobby beekeeper. She has access to a bunch of green beans, and we did not plant any green beans this year. We just felt like we had our hands full with what was going on project-wise on the farm, and Tanya reached out to me and said that she's got access to a lot of surplus beans. So I am going to meet her this morning and give her the figs that I freeze-dried that were hers. And also, we're gonna pick some green beans. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them yet, but I'm gonna get them picked. All right, Pookie, I came in the back door so the lights aren't even on yet. You doing okay this morning, girlfriend? I see you. You so little that we can't see you over the top. We can just see you peeking through. I bet Peaches is sleeping in this morning. I thought, while I'm going to gather eggs this morning, I thought it might be nice if I take Miss Tanya a dozen eggs. The chickens have not been laying very well, but I think I can get at least a dozen for her. And here they are. Y'all, they act like, well, they just act a little crazy when they start seeing me come. They know that I'm going to give them some scratch, which is like candy to them. And they all come and line up and wait. And I did not cut the grass over here. I told y'all I was gonna cut the grass, and I'm glad I didn't, because with our lack of rain, look at how brown it's turned. It's starting to lay down, and it's give the chickens a nice area to free range. All right, girls, y'all ready for some scratch? I was able to gather 15 eggs, which will be enough for me to give Tanya. And as I'm headed over to the tomato row, y'all can probably hear the birds. I hope all these tomatoes don't have peck holes. So far, we've had pretty good luck with the birds not causing much harm. But I'm gonna see if I can't pick a few of these mostly red tomatoes and take those to Tanya as well. Have 4 Canada geese flying over. I know they're not going to stop in our pond because our geese are not going to let them. Nope, they kept going. They kept going. I got enough tomatoes for Tanya. They could have stayed on the vine another day or so, but I didn't have any that were off the vine that were any riper. So I'm going to take her these, and I'm going to stop at the milk room on my way back and get a carton for these eggs. I'm running behind. I told her I'd meet her at 8 o'clock, and I'm a punctual person, so I will anticipate these cooler temperatures to be here hopefully this afternoon rather than in the morning, because if y'all can't see, I'm soaking wet with sweat, and it's a little after 7 in the morning now, so humidity is just, oh, Dee-Dee, you stayed on the porch the entire time this morning. What'd you do that for, girl? Huh? You didn't want to work this morning? I don't blame you. I'm gonna let you in. I don't know why y'all didn't tell me that I had something black on my face. I have no idea what that is. It's a piece of grass. But I now know that I was... Anyway, I just wanted to address that. All right, y'all, so I made it to the bean patch, and Miss Tanya is picking on the other side of me. She says she's a mess this morning. I don't agree with her, but she does not want to be seen on camera, so I respect that. Y'all just know Tanya's here, and I'm gonna... She said hello! So here is the 3 rows of green beans, and they go for what looks like forever. You can see my car down there at the end, and I'm just gonna start picking, and we're hopefully gonna get a mess because Tanya just told me about a recipe that she actually gave us a jar of, and we all approved as a family, and it's gonna be good for winter, summer, whenever. It just it was phenomenal, so I'm gonna share it with y'all. Seems rather simple, might not be simple when I get in the kitchen, but we're gonna find out. Whatever you wanted to you, okay. And send whatever Catherine wanted to her. Okay. Well, y'all, Tanya and I were able to pick what I would call a mess of rattlesnake pole beans. I had to think for a second to remember what they were. So I'm going to make a stop at the store and pick up what she told me to make pickled green beans. Now, I said earlier that she brought us a jar of them. We already know that we love them. Don't have to do anything to them except for put the brine in. So this is the easiest way that I can think to utilize these green beans. Plus, if I have some left, I may stick a few in the freeze dryer for a future harvest. I've made my way to the big box store, and I think I see what Tanya told me to get. She suggested Mrs. Wages kosher dill pickle mix, and they have just 3 bags left, so I'm gonna get these. I'm not sure how much vinegar it takes, but we're gonna find out. So let's see here. She said follow the brine directions, and this is for cucumbers to make pickles, but we're going to make pickled green beans. So it says 3 and I can't even see that. 3 1/4 cups of white distilled vinegar. So right here, pickling and canning vinegar. I'm sure white vinegar is the same thing, but I'm over here on this side of the store, so I'm going to grab a gallon or 2 of this, and we will be on our way. Well, y'all, I have made it back home, and the first thing I had to do was go let Jason's dog out because he and Mary Carl have gone on a birding trip this weekend that was put on by the Alabama Wildlife, and they were gone last night, so I had to take care of Holly. I would have probably went with them, but Holly, she's full of energy. Bandit's trying to get my attention. As y'all know, Holly is a working dog, and she is a 24/7 job. So I stayed home, and immediately she thought Jason had arrived back at the house, and she was jumping on the door and so excited. And here she is. She went out and did her business, and now she's back. She can't wait for Jason to get home. She doesn't understand where he is. She has gone to the barn looking for him. She's very confused. But I'm here, Holly. I'm here. Look, Holly, I'm here and I will take good care of you. He will be back soon, I promise you. She said, I'm smelling for him. I know he's not far. Oh my goodness, she thinks that we're going to get him now. We're not going to get your daddy. He's coming home, I promise you. If she could get in, she would, but the beans are blocking the back of the car. Y'all, I got out of the car. I got the beans out of the car. Come on, Holly. And the dog got in. Come on, Holly. Come on, your daddy's coming home. Come on, I promise you. He's coming back. He couldn't take her with him. They spent the night in a hotel last night. It was not a pet-friendly hotel. They were going birding today. Birding requires being quiet, not running through the woods like a Australian Shepherd Border Collie mix would do. Come on, Holly. Come on, girl. Come on. That's a good girl. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, get down. You got to go help me do some pickling. Come on, Bandit. I really don't need you to get in there. Come on, Holly. All right, so I'm going to let her out the front door and shut this back. Come on, girl. Come on. Yep, that's what I'm going to have to do. Y'all, I thought I was going to let her out the front door, and she got in the driver's seat and will not get out. Look, he's coming home, I promise you. Come on, get out. Come on. Come on. Good girl. Come on. Good girl. Oh, my goodness. Right back in. Come on, we're not going. All right, I'm going to go put my stuff in. And maybe by the time I get back out, you'll be decided that he's going to come back. If any of you have followed me for any length of time, you know that I'm not a fan of canning. I prefer freeze drying, which will allow the food to last up to 25 years, providing it is packaged properly with an oxygen absorber and it's sealed, vacuum sealed. I do, however, have instances when my family enjoys something that I will can from time to time, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna do it with a smile. You may get a smile out of me, but I'm not gonna smile the entire time because I just don't enjoy standing over the stove. I'd rather be outside, and freeze drying allows me to have extra time where I can just literally mash a button and come back when it's done and package it. I feel like when you're canning something, you first have to sterilize the jars, which is, that's what I got going on now. And then, well, you have to water bath, usually, whatever you're trying to preserve. In this case, it's going to be pickled green beans. So I do only have to water bath them for 10 minutes. Which doesn't sound like a long time, but you gotta wait on this pot to come to a boil, and I'm just standing here twiddling my thumbs. I just don't enjoy it. So sometimes we do things that we don't particularly enjoy, but that doesn't mean we don't enjoy the outcome. So that's what's happening today, is we're gonna enjoy the outcome of these pickled green beans, and that's why I'm doing it. I can't pickle the green beans in the freeze dryer. I can't do that because obviously well, you know what? I wonder if I could marinate okay, that's a whole nother story. All right, so here are the green beans that Tanya did for us. If I can get the lid open, I tell y'all, my left hand just does not have the strength it did before I had the injury to my finger. I can't open lids like I did previously. And you may say, well, if you're right-handed, use your right hand. But I told Jason this, I said, I found that I use my left hand when I'm opening a jar. So I don't know why that is, but I can indeed use my left hand. But these are the pickled green beans, and Tanya adds a little bit of red pepper to the jar once she's finished with the Mrs. Wages, and some garlic. So I'm gonna give these a taste. They're very good. Very similar to a pickle. Now, you're not gonna find me sitting down eating a jar of these. I do like it, but unlike Jason and Mary Carl, it's just not my thing. I can eat one or two, but I'm not gonna sit down and eat a jar. So basically, I'm doing this for my family, and they're not here. They don't even know I'm doing this. So they're gonna be quite surprised to find out that they have I don't know how many jars I have in there, maybe 8. And I did do all the quart jars that I had stored away because I feel like they're gonna consume a lot of them. Quart jars are something I had. I did have to fill in with a few pint jars. My pot has finally started to boil and I'm sterilizing the jars. I'll put the lids in when I'm down to probably about 3 minutes, just so they won't cook too long and lose their effectiveness. And then I've got the mixture that I'm going to use for the brine in this pot. It doesn't look real pretty, but it doesn't have to. It's going to serve its purpose. And these two are going, so next step will be to get the jars out, and while they're still warm, pack them with beans, pour this brine over the top, and then water bath them for 10 to 15 minutes. Into each jar, Tanya used about 1/8 of a tablespoon of minced garlic. Now, you don't have to use this. You can use more or less. Hers was a pint jar, so I'm going to use a little bit more in mine, just because I like the flavor of hers. Also, she used a little bit of red pepper flakes. That can be eliminated, or you can add more or less. And these are going in raw. They have been washed. I'm making a big mess. That's okay. This may or may not have anything to do with the reason I shouldn't be canning. So first of all, I'm not a very, I don't want to say clean. I just spilled stuff all over the counter. Okay, that's easy to clean up, right? My first jar was hot and I went to put it in and the jar busted on me, because things happen. And I must say, I've always been scared of a pressure cooker. Those ones like your grandparents used. I've always been scared of them. But Tanya told me today that she has started using a pressure cooker. Make sure, yes, that's almost too hot to touch. And she actually sent me a link to it, and I hope y'all got a laugh out of it. I'm going to put some figs up, though. I'll tell you that. I'm going to preserve some figs. I love fig preserves. Our friend Michael Key from Selma that Jason graduated with, he is just dying to try some fig preserves. He's never had them. I'm putting fig preserves up, no matter what. If the jar busts, it just busts. But I tell you, things just didn't go well for me today. And the rest of those beans, I'm going to freeze dry. I sure am. Well, I got the jar out of the trash can because I wanted to look at it and see what could have possibly happened. Alright, so this is the bottom. And no, I'm not going to cut myself. It looks like it just come apart right at the bottom there. And I told y'all that we save old jars and we reuse them, as I think most everybody does. So there's no telling where we got this jar or how long it's been sitting. But I certainly don't want it to bust on me if there's going to be a busting jar. And the jars were hot, going in hot water. It's not like they were cold going in hot water or room temperature. I had just gotten them out of the hot water and stuffed them. So that's definitely not what the problem was. Alright, last one. 4 jars. Alright, y'all, guess who's back? So while you were gone this morning, Tanya and I went and picked a mess of green beans. A mess of pole beans. She got some to take to some members of her church, and I took home the ones that I picked, and I thought I would surprise you and Mary Carl with some of these beans until I put the first jar in and it busted. And boy, did it ever bust. I've never had that happen.
No, we've never had it happen.
I don't know what the deal was, but that was just the icing on the cake for me, to put canning and preserving on the back burner. Now, I can still preserve in the freeze dryer.
Yeah.
And I said I'll probably make some fig preserves for Michael Key.
Yeah.
But you know how I feel about that.
You don't like canning.
I don't like canning.
Mm-hmm.
And I did this because, well, I was trying to be a good wife and a good mama. And
we appreciate it.
So Jason and Mary Carl have made their way back home, and I'm glad y'all are back. And I'm also sorry that I was only able to get four jars of beans.
4 more than we would have had.
Yeah, that's right. And thanks to Tanya, who told me about the beans and allowed me to come along with her. And until next time, I hope y'all enjoyed me having a pity party about preserving. Y'all be good.